Nothing better than opening up with a coughing jug. It's the pollen count here on Cape Cod. It's like breathing in asbestos. The just Paul. We've had so much rain. It's just an obscenity. Everyone's talking like this. I feel like I'm living in an Allegra commercial, but I will endeavor to persevere. But yes, folks, it's Sunday night, and that means, of course, another Sunday night live chat. And a welcome to all of you, um, prelated. At the moment, it's just old me. But I'm sure my armies of followers will be joining any minuet now. How early am I tonight? Let's just see. Well, it's 7:25. That usually is around the time my people start pouring in, but I will continue to fill the dead air. If there's one thing I'm good at, it's filling dead air. And we have a winner. Justin at the Braidwood Inn is here with us. He says, "Welcome back, John Sebastian. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back." And another one of our YouTube creators is here, Tracy from Tracy's Fractured History and More is here. It says, "Hi, Robert. Hello to the two of you." And both of you guys will get link drops from Dan or Sarah or whichever one of my wrenches shows up to link the drop. But so good to see you as always. Oh, and I am so sorry, Tracy, I couldn't make it to your live chat last night. I was at work. We were actually busy last night, so I couldn't duck out early, but I was unable to attend. And I'm sorry, Justin. I am so sorry. I haven't had a chance to watch any of your Cheers special guest stars videos. They look great. I keep meaning I'll get to them as soon as I've been like so busy as late. They're all in my queue. I'll watch them as soon as I can. Oh well, of course, Tracy. You are a wrench, but do you do links? I can't. If you can do links, please drop a link for both you and Justin. Please sugar on top. Lance is here. It says, "Hey, Thrash, Lance, so good to see you." And Justin says, "I just came early. May not be here more than 20 minutes. However long you can make it, Justin, is okay in my book." And John Collins is here. Oh my God, Johnny, how you doing? He says, "Hi, Bob." Hi, John. So nice to see you as always. Glad you could make it tonight. I know you're not always available to make it for us, but I'm glad you did. John P. Adventures here. He says, "Hugs, Thrash. Much love, my brother," with all kinds of emojis. Great show. Thank you so much, by the way. And I'm dying to find out. As you know, John does a series of personal adventure videos over from Portugal. He's been having some great ones lately. Check out his channel as soon as you can. And Wajimeen is here. He says, "Hello, everyone. Wajimeen, so awesome to see you as always." Sharnas is here. He says, "Hello, all." And people continue with the fellowship. And a fellowship to you. Pardon me, I'm getting parched already. Again, it's the throat thing, but I'll do what I can. But anyway, I'm so glad so many of you are here. Speaking of other YouTube creators, I decided spur them. I was watching a video from Telltale Books. He's been putting out some great material, by the way. And we started talking about the concept of evil children in literature. And that kind of spurned, got my motor going. So if we need a topic tonight, if we end up with a topic tonight, it's going to be evil children in books, film, TV shows, whatever examples you can think of that really struck your fancy. That's going to be the topic for tonight. Dominic D here says, "Hey, Bob. Hey, everyone. Hey to you, too. Great to see you." Dominic D. City Deer is here. City D is here. City Deer is here. And says, "Hello, everyone." And Lynn says, "Thrash, don't freeze up." I know. I froze again today on Tug's channel. John says, "How are you, Bob?" I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine, John. John, more importantly, how are you? A lot of people saying hello to one another. And I think I'm caught up, but I will keep an eye out at the bottom of the chat for just such an emergency. Don't forget, we have 10 people in the chat and only 5 likes. We can do better than that. Indies Bounce is here. Yay, says Pat McCormick. Come on down. And Christopher Wilkinson is here. He says, good evening, Bob, and good evening to you, by the way. So cool you got to go to that cryptoid museum up in Maine. That is just cool squared. I live in Massachusetts, and I've never been. Gary Carter is here. He says, I'm here. You sure are. So good to see you. You see, that was a surprise we were talking about. You had a surprise for me tonight. It was your attendance. Lynn says, we are under a severe thunderstorm watch in Kansas City. Lance, wish you all the luck. Hopefully it does not ruin your day, as it were. Yeah, again tonight, the topic of conversation is going to be evil children in literature and what your favorite examples of this are. Cindy says hi to Wajabine and to Sean, Dominic, Lance, Tracy, Ken, et al. Oh, Dave is here. Dave says hi. Dave, good to see you as well. Welcome to the party. Smarty. Zuperlix is here. Says, wow, so close to Dave's live stream. Zuperlix, I am so glad you could make it. We've missed you for the last couple of weeks. I understand how busy you are, but I'm so glad you're able to make it this eve. John Collins says, the good son is an example of a negative child in fictional entertainment. It certainly is. That's with a Macaulay Culkin. It certainly is. And he says to Sean Innes, why it's almost like we were talking about frozen children in our freezers a mere 6 hours ago. I know, right? I know. And let's see here. What do you mean says Children of the Corn? That's a good one. And Lynn says, I have not seen Dave in months. I was gonna say, I caught a live of his where he was showing commercials the other day. Was he doing anything today? Honestly, God, I didn't miss. I hope I didn't miss anything he did today. We do have Corey's Comedy Channel going on tonight at 9. So I invite all of you to go from here to there. And Daryl Johnson here, he says, Bob, Daryl, other brother, good to see you. Oh, Dave, good one. Little Rascals. You can make a valid case of that, I'm sure. Lynn says, I'm not in Dave's membership anymore. Oh, I'm sorry, bro. And let's see. So far, here we are. Suplex says, last week I was watching Insomnia. Were you able to stay awake through it? Were you able to stay awake through it? You see what I did there? Were you able to stay awake? Sorry. Tracy says Oliver Twist. Ooh, there's a twist. That's a good one. Indy says none of the evil children from your quiz will be nearly as troubling as Brandon DeWild's from Shane. I haven't seen the Life and Set endings post on him, but I'll take your word for it. I'll take your word for it. And Ziblik says, bah! He got the joke, obviously. Justin says Dave is doing the Insomnia discussion tonight. Oh, is he? No kidding. No kidding. And Melissa Foster's here. Melissa, how you doing? Melissa says, hi, Thrash Pondo and to all. And a hi to you too as well. WD says, twist and shout. Twist and shout. Come on, come on, come on. Tug is here. He says, yo, just popped over from Chance's stream. Please tell Chance I said hi, and Tug, I'm so glad you could make it. Watchman says, how about the movie Children? That movie freaked the bees out of me when I was a kid. John Collins says, Dave is doing a membership live stream movie review tonight. Oh, excellent, excellent. And Ziblik says, the worst child was Damien from The Omen. Yeah, that's certainly up there. And look, Scott's here. He says to Thrash Bondo. Oh, and hello to everyone else as well. I'm skimming through a lot of people saying hello to everyone. One other. Dave says drinking squirt count. Squirt, the citrus flavored soda. I think I remember that vaguely. Don't see right here all that much. Oh, Lynn says to tell Dave hi from him. That's right. I see you, Lance. John Doe is here. He says, "Shh, no witnesses." John sent me the. Well, I gotta say, dark funny. It was this. You think it's gonna be one of those virtual Christmas cards they play in station identification around the holidays, and it's a little girl. She runs down the stairs and she sees Santa, and he gets this like, "Oh, I'm busted" smile, and he goes, "Shh, no witnesses." And then he pulls out a gun and goes, "Bang, bang, bang." I'm like, dude, it was actually embarrassingly funny. And he says Tug votes for Dakota Fanning from uh, TWOTW. The War of the Worlds. Oh, I hated her in that. Tab is here. Tab says, guess the 70s TV show from this premise. Cruise ship full of love, exciting and new. The Love Boat. Very good. Very good, Tab. Thank you for the the sex boat, as Superflex said. Emily's here, says, hey, y'all. Hey, y'all to you, too, there, Miss M. Showed me the same without you. Hello, John Doe. A lot of people guessing the Love Boat. Tug says, yikes, Indy, what is this vote for? Not ear piercing, hard to watch child and film. Tommy D says Super Train. And Isabel says the Love Boat. Speaking of which, do you think Ice Cube some nasty looks leaving the theater after Titanic? Oh, Ice Cube got some nasty. Took me a second. But yeah, good one. Justin says Dakota Fanning was an evil child in another movie too. She was. She was, and I can't recall it, but she was. John Doe says, did you see the other Christmas special I sent you? I haven't yet. It's still in my inbox. I haven't seen it yet. I will. A sap. David said, so this is a true. So is that true? And The Exorcist, it was green pea soup in her mouth. Yes, yes. Oh, and by the way, my favorite story about, in case you guys haven't heard it enough times already, from The Omen. Remember that really, really creepy smile the kid gives at the end? You know how the director got him to do that smile? He was directing me. He says, okay, now turn around, look at the camera. Now don't smile. Don't smile. Don't smile. And the kid was trying so hard not to smile. It was like, and it was priceless. Let's just see. Oh, by the way, Mama Thresh, yes, you can count me as one of the evil children. If you haven't already. Gary Carpenter says, Wadge, I refuse to see The Exorcist. Sean says, she was evil in the film with De Niro. Right. Yeah, I just can't place the name to save my life. What do you mean says, I can see why, Gary. About The Exorcist, of course. And Emily says, I would watch it Superplex. Tug says, Dakota is incredible in The Alchemist. John Doe says, I'll give you some of these and some of those. Ah! Oh, I'll give you some of these and some of those. Anastasia, I think. And Gary says, Wedge, that one, and Carrie. And Emily says, I'll watch anything with a good possession. Number one dude is here. Hey, dude, how's it going? Says, hello, Thrash Pondo Bonds and Mrs. Thrash Pondo. Dave says, bad to the bone. Teb says, guess the TV show by this premise. Three beautiful private investigators, Charlie's Angels. Melissa says, I'm doing well. It's finally a good day. Was warm enough to go outdoor chores. That's awesome. I was going to say, we were warm for a couple of days, but it's freezing now. Well, 40s. Kevin Scott 76 says, hey, Thrash, had 5 recitals with my students this weekend. Wowzers. I'm so glad you had the strength to make it. Thank you so much. Teb says, help, catch. Indy Spout says, to quote medical servant Dr. Nick, hello, everybody. A lot of people saying hi to Dude. Dude! Tracy says, hiya, Mrs. Ponce. Oh, that's so sweet of you. Zublick says, policewoman. That's one beautiful woman, not three. Tug says, hi, Dr. Nick. Hello, everybody. Number two says, how goes it to Gary Carpenter, Daryl Johnson? Zublick says, chips. You're swinging wild, Zoop. You're swinging wild. Hill Street Blues. That's still, to this day, my favorite cop show of all time. Lynn says, sorry for the issues with my phone. John Doe says, I sent you the world's greatest wrestling promo when he said, I'll give him a lost. Oh, yes. Oh, no, I saw that one. I did see that one. In fact, I sent you a message back saying it was too funny. What year was that from? I'm guessing early mid 80s, but let me know if you could, John. And Ted says, Charlie's Angels was correct. What do you mean says, I am Sam. And Sam, I am. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them. Sam, I am. Don says, don't forget to hit the like button. You are so correct. Number dude says, Pepper Anderson. Says, Adam 12. Well, at least that's a cop film, TV show. Well, it was a movie, wasn't it? And Melissa says, Damien was creepy. I still remember the birthday party scene where the nanny jumped off the roof. Yes. It's all for you, Damien. It's all for you. Was that the same day he was attacked by the Rottweilers? I think. Or someone was attacked by the Rottweiler. Kevin says, what's the topic tonight? Evil children and entertainment. Tracy says, Police Woman is my favorite cop show. Cindy says, Charlie's Angels is my favorite cop show. Scott says to Melissa, don't talk about my friend like that. Damien is a nice guy. Different Damien. Gary Carter says, Magnum PI. Lynn says, I know dealing with the flu right now. Oh, I'm sorry, man. Big Guy says, hello, everybody. Hi, Dr. Nick. What do you mean says, LOL, I am Sam with Sean Penn and Dakota Fanning. I knew what you meant. I'm just being a smartass. Alec. Smart Alec. So it says Hawaii 5-0. Heart to Heart. That was a good one. Tug says, LOL, Scott, I always think of the Omen when I say Damien's name. And John Doe says, it was early 80s, I believe, but he'll look into it. Yeah, it's kind of where I got to. And thanks again. And Melissa says, of course, he was a dear child. Oh. And Big Guy says, Brightburn 2019, LOL. Emily says, evil children are quite entertaining. They certainly are. And he says, my favorite cop show is probably Reno 911. Guilty pleasure. I must confess, guilty pleasure. The show is actually very funny. Although, Troops, based on the Stormtroopers doing cops, I thought was amazing. Cindy says, I said, hi, Linz, you ignoring me today? Oh, I'm sure he's not, Cindy. I'm sure he's not. Christopher says, I like the original SWAT and TJ Hooker. Great shows. And Gary Carpenter says, you know that Steve Buscemi got attacked in New York subway? Yeah, it was one of those random punch attacks, which I would actually send people around with bats. And if I saw somebody getting randomly punched, I would say, okay, my turn, and hit the attacker with a bat. But that's just me. Oh, Chance says, hi, Thrash Pondo. Chance, so good to see you. Welcome to the party. Zubrix says Corey Feldman, and a Corey Feldman to you too. Tug said, would Aaliyah from Dune count as an evil child? She's definitely creepy, especially the David Lynch version. No, because she fights for good. Creepy as she is, she fights for good. You know, pity Emperor. My brother's coming for you. Pity the Emperor. John Doe says, I went to the Norwegian Day Parade in Bay Ridge. Then I went to Park Slope for a street festival. I'm pooped. I don't blame you. So glad you have the strength to join us here today. Justin says Corey Feldman music set is evil. Oh, I get it. And Lance says that was Holly Palance, Jack's daughter, the one who jumped. I did not know that. The one who worked with him in Ripley's Believe It or Not. I did not know that. That's amazing. Thank you, Lance. Teb says, guess the 80s TV show from by this premise. A group of soldiers of fortune, the A Team. You had me with soldiers of fortune. Tracy says, Renisha X was my favorite Reno 911. And Emily says, to be fair, the children weren't really evil. Well, it depends on which installment you watch. Demodu says, batter up. I know, right? all you're gonna do is what was the Sin City? Yeah, you do a Sin City where you send a demure person who looks like an easy target down the street, and behind you have a samurai warrior. So when the person goes to victimize the bait, you destroy them. But that might be a tad overreactionary. But if someone has a better idea for how people to get each other to stop hitting each other, I'm willing to discuss said matter. Scott says, Indy, Diggle's shorts alone gets me every time. And Ziblik says, for some reason, there is a computer loose on YouTube with a fixation on poop. Well, that's YouTube for you. And Sean just jumped off the page, and I'm not starting the night off like that. So, he says to Tug, well, technically she was born schizophrenic, so sure. That's a good point. That's a good point. John Joe says my favorite Cub show is Sledgehammer. I don't recall that one. I mean, I recall it, I just didn't watch it. Gary likes Simon Simon. Len says no, Cindy. Just listening. He's not reading the comments. He's just listening. What do you mean? Has a phone call? He'll be right back. Melissa says, I think that it was the same day as the Rottweiler attack. Yeah, I thought so too. I haven't seen that movie in ages. I've got to see it again, but I think so too. So it says Lindsay Logan. Logan's Run. I assume you mean Lindsay Lohan. And I wouldn't say she's evil. She's set for life, I'll tell you that much. As Sheldon says, the A Team, yes. Cindy D says, message retracted. And a message retracted to you, too. Tug says, the kid in Pet Cemetery always freaks me out. And that scene with the scalpel on Grandpa's ankle, shudder. That scene was shockingly scary. I do like Pet Cemetery. I do. I don't think it kind of lives up to the book. I thought Fred Gwynn was great in it. One of his last roles, if not his last role, I think. But you know that story comes from at one point, Stephen King lived next to a major highway, and one day his son Joe. He named his son Joe, so people would go up to him years later and say, "Hi, you must be joking." You've got to be joking. You are certainly joking. See, it gets funnier every time I say it. But anyway, he was a toddler, and a truck came whizzing down the road. And Stephen couldn't see his son, and he freaked out. He's like, Joe, 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 you must be joking. Joe, Joe, Joe. He found him. Joe hadn't wandered out to the road, but Stephen had this, like, traumatic experience where I'll spare all you parents out there a vocalization of what he thought happened, but it freaked him right the blah 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 blankety blank out, and rightly so. The book says Britney Spears. Okay, are we just naming '90s child stars now? And I'm going to. Dude says Macaulay Culkin from The Good Son would qualify. It certainly does. Dominic D says Corey Feldman needs to get a day job. Ooh. And Gary Carpenter says Knight Rider. I like Knight Riders, the George Romero film. So he says, sorry, so sorry, Lance, be well. And he says to Tug, you mean sweet little Gaga. And Christopher says, where is the hungry jerk, Bob? I haven't seen him in weeks. I have not. I think I still have his cell phone number. We'll try to give him a call. A sap. Somebody says, "Hope you get better, Lance." Lance says, "Chance House, Sarah, TD, and Snarky." Tracy says, "Star Trek TOS, the children." You mean Muri? Or the other one, with the singing judge who plays the alien angel, friendly angel. But hail, hail, fire and snow, friendly angel, we must go. That one was very, very creepy. And Pam Pamela Ferdin? Isn't Pamela Ferdin in that episode? I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments below. And I'm so ashamed I can't think of his name. Black dude from Mission Impossible. I believe his son is in that episode too. And please let me know so I can stop saying black dude. And Harold says, when I lived in Iowa, a cornfield was my backyard. I couldn't sleep for so long when I was a kid and saw the original Children of the Corn. I can see that. I can certainly see that. And Tug just jumped off the page. So I'm going to have to back up a little bit here. Hopefully not too far back, but it's not looking good for the home team. But holy cow. Oh, yeah, here it is. Tug says, Gage, thank you, Indy. I was racking my brains trying to remember his name. Ah, yes, from Emergency, yes. Melissa says, I do know that Patrick Troughton played the priest that got speared in the movie. Yes, he certainly did. Yes, he certainly did. Teb says, guess the 90s TV show by this premise. Unlikely pair of FBI agents, one a believer, the other is X-Files. Gary Cameron says, KW, I haven't seen him in a while. Oh, but Teb, I hope you don't mind me placing my guess as soon as I know. I want to do like a Jeopardy thing where as soon as you know it, you hit the buzzer. But let me know if you think that's unfair, and I'll change that. Zublik says Karen Cisco. And Cindy says Heather O'Rourke and the Poltergeist TV show scares me. Yeah, I can certainly see that. And Harold says to Tug, Pet Cemetery kid freaked me out too. It's with an S. You have to spell it wrong. But we'll give you partial credit. Justin says, I always thought Heather Menzies Urich character in Sound of Music seemed a bit sociopathic. Oh, that never occurred to me, but I'm gonna have to rewatch it now. Oh, I like it. Sean said, I didn't jump, I was pushed. Points at India. Gary Gabner says, Lance Chafin was already sick, lol. Oh, dude. Doug says X-Files. Ozublik says Cold Case. John Doe says Sheriff Lobo was good. The only thing I remember about the Misadventures of Sheriff Lobo was the opening credits for it. My flock is everywhere is here. Sister Sarah, how you doing? And she's dropping us a link. And if you would be good enough to please give us links for Justin at Braidwood Inn and Tracy's Fraction History and More, and for Watch a Mean and John P. Adventures, as well as yourself. And thank you. And I'm just going to skim on down. Somebody says, damn, autocorrect. I said Logan. but yes, but I know what you meant. Gary Cameron says partners in crime. My Flock's giving us another link. Sean says the Kid Niles from The Others. That movie scared the piss out of me when I was a kid. I remember I saw it when I was like 9 or 10, and it really scared me a lot. Matthew Stanbrook is here. Says ruffled or plain chips. Ruffled. But I'm more interested in flavored. For example, if I choose between plain chip and ranch or sour cream, I would pick the flavored chip. But if we're talking just the mechanics of the potato chip, Ruffles. Oh, and by the way, Matthew, welcome to the live chat. Everybody say hello to Matthew and give your potato preference if you prefer. Tug says, I really like the first few seasons of Criminal Minds. Does that count as a cop show? Yeah, sure. You know me, I'll count anything. Sledgehammer, Hardcastle McCormick. Oh, wow. So these are Silk Stockings. I'd almost forgot about that show. Hardcastle McCormick. Melissa says, my favorite book turned into a movie, but it was about some bad children. Lord of the Flies. That was the first book I read as a kid that wasn't assigned to me. That was the first elected book I ever read where I wanted to sit down and read it. And I loved it. I really loved it. That says something about me, I'm afraid. Zublix like Police Squad. And he's about to say sometimes dead is better. The dead know only one thing. It is better to be alive. WD says, was Lonnie Anderson and Linda Carter in Partners in Crime? No, but they've been in here plenty of times. Mod Squad. I love Mod Squad. I love Mod Squad with the other two and Link. Lynn says, why can't I see Sarah on the chat? Good question. Sean says, no, he goes by Joe Hill. Yes, you're right. I saw that somewhere that Joe King goes by Joe Hill. And I wonder if it's because he's sick of his father's joke. And people say, hey, you must be joking. Oh, there's Sarah giving us a link. Thank you so much. John Doe says Joe Hill is a comic book writer. I think he does both, actually. Gary Carter says the Fall Guy. And Zublik says, bad kids T-Pawns. Yes, I was a bad kid. And Sister Sarah says, hi, everyone. And Tug says, Scott Evil by technically. And a lot of people saying hello to one another, particularly Sarah. Oh, I jumped again. Ah! Oh no, I hit the wrong button. Okay, nobody panic, including me. Uh-oh. Cancel. Leave site. No! Okay. It's the problem with these touch screens. I was afraid you're going to touch the wrong thing. So anyway, I'm going to race through these comments because I'm way behind and I want to start the trivia. But I don't want to leave anybody out. And I'm far further back than I thought. So we're going to kind of race through here. Daryl Johnson brought up an excellent one, Children of the Damned. Then he goes on to say, I think it might be us. Shauna says the children shall lead. Scott says, to my flock, can you post your channel? I would like to subscribe. Please. For all those who haven't subscribed, yes, definitely. Gary Carter says Van Helsing. Teb says, guess the 80s TV show by this premise. Men fight crime with the help of an artificially intelligent talking car. Knight Rider. Zublik says Pamela Furden was in everything in the 70s. She certainly was. Ellen, Teb corrects that to fights. Shauna says Furden was pretty evil in The Beguiled too, picking the wrong mushrooms. That whole movie is so raunchy. And supposedly she claims that scene where she gets kissed on the cheek by Clint Eastwood, she didn't know he was going to do that. That was all impromptu. And I guess she was uncomfortable with that. So there's so much going on with The Beguiled that well, and of course he did kill her turtle. Oh, spoiler alert! Clint Eastwood kills a turtle in The Beguiled. Now, where was I? Chris says Philip Morris, Bob. Philip Morris. So the cigarette people. Okay, and it was Pamela Furden. Thank you, Teb. And Justin says, were you the one who mentioned Amazon editing The French Connection? No, but I believe it, and I'm appalled. Tug says, Claudia from Interview with a Vampire, a young and very evil Christine Dunst. Yeah, and speaking of kissing an adult, she was like what, like 11 when she did that movie, and she had to open mouth kiss Brad Pitt. Ew. Oh, side note, that was the movie Mrs. Thrash and I saw on our first date. Ew. God, I'm dying. Indy says, yes, Pamela Ferdin is in the episode, and it was George Sanford Brown's son. Thank you. And Dominic D says Pamela Ferdin played Felix's daughter on The Odd Couple. I believe she's one of 3 girls who played his daughter in The Odd Couple. Can't for the life of me think of the other 2. And Sean says to Braidwooded, no, it wasn't me, maybe Indy. Do tell, why would they do that? Money! It's always about money. And Daryl says, have aliens popping out of the cornfield or old baseball players. Wow, that would be a great amalgam of Michigots. Amalgam of Michigots. While I'm scrolling, by the way, shout out to Keith E. I don't know if you're just watching and not posting comments or if you haven't been able to make it tonight, but Keith E., my brother, shout out to you. John Doe says, anyone saw Sharks of the Corn? It's really real. No, but there was an old comic book story, I believe by Richard Corbin, where there's a similar premise, only it's dinosaurs. Gary says, crazy like a fox. And Scott says, good call to the bottom page and a geek about Claudia. And Tug says, Sharks of the Corn. Really? I have not seen that. And Lance says, I'm out. Lance, hope you feel better, buddy. Take care of yourself. And Daryl says, Children of the Corn versus Signs. And Tracy says, Outnighters to Lance. And Teb says, it's the X-Files Thresh. Thank you. Sean says, the actor from The Tin Drum and Legend. Ooh. Oh, all I can remember is it was Billy Barty's last film. Tim Curry plays the demon. Tom Cruise plays the hero to an extent. And Mia Sara is the girl in it, but I don't remember the other actor. My Fox giving us a link. Thank you. Michael's Drones is here. It says hello, Thresh Pondo. Michael's Drones. So glad you could. Actually, it's drones, RCs, and knives. So glad you could make it. Congratulations on the 1,000 subscribers, Sister Sarah. If you could drop a link for Michael's Drones, I would appreciate it. And Tug says best Oprah impression. You get a link, and you get a link, and you get a link. Love it, love it. And John Doe says, Sharks of the Corn is up there with bad CGI shark. Michael saying hi to Sister Sarah. And message retracted. Cindy D says, cheddar ruffles. Wow, I am behind. And yeah, the sour cream and cheddar ruffles are definitely. Kevin Scott 76 says Jacob's letter scared me big time. I can see that. Dominic D said Matthew. So was it Matthew? I don't know if it's Matthew, then I guess I'm right. Gary Carpenter also likes sour cream and ranch. And Michael says hi to Benjamin. Tracy says Lord of the Flies 100. I'm assuming it's 100%. And Justin says, with today's airbrushed language, the Shatner cop show would be called TJ Sex Worker. You know, or was it they said about the Dick Van Dyke show? It was the blank Van Blank. And Tug says definitely to Kevin, that's the most essentially terrifying movie ever made. Gary Carpenter says Switch. Scott says to Tug, Jacob's Ladder is amazing. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. Oh, Tracy also says Beretta, as far as cop shows goes. Ziploc says Peggy Lipton. Definitely. And yeah, she was married to Quincy Jones. And Teb says, guess the 70s show by this premise. Two 50s best friends. One has Love for milk and Pepsi. Laverne and Shirley. Mike says, thank you, my flock, for sharing my link. You are so kind, girl. You're awesome. I appreciate you, girl. I really do. She's a very appreciable. She is a godsend to our channel and others. Oh, Cindy D says the Jeffersons, but I think I missed a few. Um, well, I missed a whole bunch. But don't worry, I'm catching up. I'm catching up. Uh, maybe. Wow, am I behind? Uh, well, I'm gonna go back to where I left off. Here we go. Doug says, "Dang nepotism! Why couldn't it be children of of a famous novelist?" I'm gonna have to kind of skip through as we go here. So if I missed anybody's, I'm sorry. John Doe says, "I saw two-headed shark, three-headed shark, getting ready to see four-headed shark and five-headed shark." Scott Tug says, "Thanks, Harold. I got to talk to Bruce, Joel, Rubin because of that video." Gary says, "Dukes of Hazard." Daryl says, "Joan Baez, Joan Hill." So he says, "I just binge watched that Gary Carpenter on Tubi. Too bad she got sick." Yes. Tim says, "Guess the '80s by the premise: a psychiatrist and his journalist wife realized their children, uh, raised their children in Long Island, New York, growing pains." That's why Cindy said that. Oh, excellent, excellent. Uh, Jonah says, "That whole movie, I'm crackling. Anybody see The Omen 2? Justin says, best car chases, Bullet, French Connection, and the 7 Ups. I'll buy that. I'll buy that. More links from Sarah. Cindy says, Philip Morris was Greg Morris's son, Thresh. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Because all I can think of with Philip Morris was the tobacco producer. So thank you very much for that. A lot of people like the Patty Duke show, it seems. Zublix mentions Love on the Rooftop. Teb says, guess the 70s show by the premise two young African American brothers get adopted by a wealthy Manhattan billionaire. Uh, um, Different Strokes. I was actually singing the Alan Thicke written theme song in my head. That's what took me a few seconds. Oh, the world don't move by the beat of just one drum. Laughing, I love it. WD says, don't die until after the live stream. I appreciate the sentiment. This says Sesame Street. Different strokes. What you mean? Got it. And Cindy D says, takes different strokes to rule the world. I'm just gonna kind of skim down, make sure if I miss anybody. Zubik says, "Man, his palms backed up." Yes, I certainly am. Which is I'm kind of skimming through here. So if I miss anyone, please forgive me. Teb says, "Guess a '70s sitcom by this premise: former neighborhood of the Bunkers moved." Oh, the Jeffersons. Yes, we're moving on up to the east side. And I'm gonna skim down here. Tales Told in the Dark is here. He says, hello. Tales Told in the Dark says, Sarah. I gotta tell you, Tales Told in the Dark, I gotta tell you, I checked out your channel not too long ago, and you got some great posts there. In fact, Sarah, please do us a favor. Tales Told in the Dark, he has some very slick just horror shorts, campfire stories. Good stuff on his channel. Please check him out. And thank you for joining us. I'm just going to call you Tails for an abbreviation, because we're kind of way behind here. He says, "What? Hello to Wajibin as well." Sean says, "How about the brother floating in outside the hospital window, scratching in from Salem's Lot?" That scene was very, very scary. John Doe says, "The devil is the father," and there's a difference. Yes, and I think I'm caught up more or less. Tug says, "Better to be back." Better. Better to be back than a front. Teb says, guess the 70s theme show by this premise: the adventures of an NYPD lieutenant and his misfit squad. Police squad. WG says Alan Thicke wrote the theme song to Different Strokes. He certainly did. Zublick says, you know what other film had a cool car chase scene in it? To Live and Die in LA. It certainly did. Scott said, Thrash Bondo is so backed up. Leave the cheese alone. And John Doe says Alan Thicke wrote the song Different Stroke. He certainly did. Cindy D says love Kate and Alley theme song. I remember the show. I don't remember the theme song, but I remember the show. Sarah's going to send another link. And Teb says, Daryl says Bullet had the best chase scene. It certainly did. Teb says, guess the 80s sitcom by the premise a group of boarding school students and their house mother take the bad, you take facts of life. And on that note, I'm actually going to do, because I'm so backed up and we're already almost, well, it's 10 past 8. I'm going to do the trivia game while I'm caught up. So if I missed anybody's comments, if I missed anybody's in the past when I was scrolling down, please forgive me, bear with me, repeat them as needed. Tebs is incorrect. Thrash, it was Barney Miller. Oh, for the police show. Oh, so right for being a wise guy. You had me think comedic. I was thinking Police Squad, but he was Detective Frank Drummond. He wasn't the commanding officer. Wow, I missed one. Certainly right for having hubris. But anyway, again, these are going to be cases of evil children in entertainment. And this one is Linda Blair, who actually worked in and outside of the entertainment industry as far as being, shall we say, a naughty child. Linda Blair's character in The Exorcist shares her name with this former U.S. president. Was it A. Washington, B. Lincoln, C. Roosevelt, or D. Reagan? I shall repeat. Linda Blair's character in The Exorcist shares her name with this former U.S. president. Was it A. Washington, B. Lincoln, C. Roosevelt, and D. Reagan? And I rush to say it before you do, spelling does not count. 77 Sunset Strip. I love it. I also love the people who are answering ironically or deliberately incorrectly, I should say, which is not ironic. It's intentional. And Justin says nobody really welcome him back. He was shunned by everyone at first. To be or not to be. OCD says she did in Rick James, the Super Freak. Super Freak is about Linda Blair? That is such a cool factoid. I don't know if I never knew that or if I knew it and forgot it, but Super Freak is about Linda Blair. Wow, that's great. I love that. But yes, of course, the answer is D. I had to open with one that everyone's going to go, do ya? But I can't get over that Linda Blair flat. Oh, the flack, a flick, a flack, a flock. My flock is everywhere. Factoid. Moving on. Number 9. This Stephen King film is based on his short story about a village controlled by an evil, outdated cult. A. The Wicker Man. B. Dagon. C. The Children of the Corn. Or D. Red State. Let me repeat. This Stephen King film is based on his short story about a village controlled by an evil, outdated cult. A. Wicker Man, B. Dagon, C. The Children of the Corn, or D. Red State. I'm sorry, I love saying that. And let's see what's going on here. My phone says, did everyone channel get dropped? Hopefully, yes. And Sister Sarah, I can't thank you enough. Oh, and speaking of which, shout out to Denny Staten, who can't be here tonight. Denny, you're our traditional link guru. Sarah's doing an absolutely outstanding job, but we do miss you, Danny. Hope all is well. That's weird. I'm giving you a shout out in absentia, and you pop into the chat. He's ooh, he said village. Oh, Chrominion is here. He says, yo, Thrash Bottom Palms. It's been ages. Hope you're well. Hey, Chad. Chrominion, so great to see you, my friend. Welcome back. So nice to see you. Oh, Danny's been lurking. Oh, I see. We lurk late. We strike straight. We jazz June. We do what? Die soon. Consider that one a bonus. Anyway, yes, the correct answer was C, Children of the Corn. Number 8. This insanely creepy sci-fi horror flick involves school children turned into homicidal monsters by a freak nuclear accident. Was it A, Rats, Night of Terror, B, Return of the Living Dead, C, Crazies, or D, Children? I shall repeat. Oh, Daryl says, I think the song Cold Blooded is about Linda Blair. She had their baby. Oh, dude. I did not know that. Justin says, Blackadder 4. Good luck, everyone. If that's your way of signing off, two things. One, incredibly cool. Two, Justin, take care. If you are taking off, take care. You're certainly welcome to stay, but love the sign off. Chrominion says, I've been around just seen Mr. Lives. Well, Chrominion, I'm so glad you made it tonight. Indy says, the children from 1980. And you are correct. We were just talking about that earlier. I was, oh God, I was probably 12 years old, maybe 13, and they showed that on HBO. And I just thought it was gonna be like this, like schlocky modern horror film. That movie scared the BGs out of me. That movie really scared me. That was just really freaky. But yes, the children from 1980. You guys are doing well tonight. I'm very proud of you. Number 7. This freaky film was from John Wyndham's sci-fi novel, The Midwich Cuckoos. Was it A, Village of the Damned, B, The Village, C, The War of the Buttons, or D, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? I shall repeat. This freaky film was adapted from John Wyndham's sci-fi novel, The Midwich Cuckoos. Was it A, Village of the Damned, V, B, The Village, C, The War of the Buttons, or D, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? Oh, Lisa Fields is here. Says hi, Criminion. Lisa Fields, so awesome to see you, my lady. Welcome to the chat. Was B supposed to be the village? Well, we'll go. The Village is a movie. The Village of the Damned, and the Village of. Yeah, we'll just go with the Village. But anyway, John Doe says get smart. I'm going to give you another few seconds. I think those of you who know it have already got it, but yes, it's the Village of the Damned. For some reason, the book is called The Midwich Cuckoos, and I guess when they were conceiving it, conceptualizing it, creating it into a movie, they decided Midwich Cuckoos was just too wacky a name. Village of the Damned was a little more catchy. So we'll go on to number 6, and then I will get scores. Oh, and Lisa says to Tracy she really enjoyed her chat. Yeah, I get to catch it in replay. Tug says I like The Village too. Yeah, The Village was a good movie. Wait, I think I'm thinking about the right movie. But anyway, we'll move forward to number 6. This pandemic-themed epic by Stephen King was actually based on a short story he penned about post-apocalyptic marauding teens. Was it A, Strawberry Spring, B, One for the Road, C, Night Surf, or D, Battleground? And I shall repeat. This pandemic-themed epic by Stephen King. Oh no! Oh, I see what I did there. I was. You guys are. I. I'll come in again. This pandemic themed epic by Stephen King was actually based on the short story he penned about post apocalyptic teens. It's very unclear. Yes, The Stand is the epic I'm talking about, but I wanted the short story he based it on. I wrote the question rather clumsy. I was kind of rushing through writing the questions today. Hence, was it the village or the village of the dead? Or anyway, getting back to it. So I will repeat the selections again. Was it A, Strawberry Spring, B, One for the Road, C, Night Surf, or D, Battleground? Everyone's laughing at me, and I don't blame you. I don't blame you. um, give you another moment to. So if you said The Stand, give yourself an extra half point, but then um pick whichever selection you feel would be appropriate based on the information I just rambled at you. And Denny says, "Did you hear about the president of Iran missing? His chopper went down in a storm in the mountains." Yeah, they're still doing a search at this time, and you guys are doing surprisingly well. Uh, yes, Night Surf is the short story about post-apocalyptic teens, and I don't know why I was so convoluted. I don't know why I can't talk. I don't know why I was so convoluted in the question about the epic. But anyway, how about some scores? Criminal says teens. Oh, what you mean is 5 for 5. Excellent. What you mean? And Sean is 4 for 5. Tag is 5 for 5. Scott is 5 for 5. Emily Miller is 5 for 5. You rock. Cameraman Eyes says, "Hi, mate. Cameraman, when did you get here?" Well, anyway, you're welcome to play the second half of my trivia game. It's on evil children in literature. But I'm so glad you could make it. Criminian is 2 for 5. Justin says maybe Geraldo will find them. If he looks in the right place for a change. Melissa is 4 for 5. Kevin is 4 for 5. Dominic D is 4 for 5. John says 1 out of potato. 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato. Cindy is 2 for 5. Not my wheelhouse. Then you're doing just fine, Cindy. Tracy is 3 for 5. What do you mean saying hello to camera? Tab is 5 for 5. Indy says, "So far, so good. Why is it every time Billy Barty comes up, I have to correct you that Legend wasn't really his last film?" I don't know. I just I think I got that stuck in my head when I was in high school or something. And what is his last film then, by the way? And I'll try to remember. But like I said, for some reason I have it stuck in my film that is, please tell me it isn't Under the Rainbow. As long as it isn't Under the Rainbow, I'll be happy. Daryl Johnson is 3 for 5. Tug is like, you keep talking about Stephen King. That's Emily's wheelhouse. Denny says I should have wrote about mine. Lisa says hi to Terrell. Gary Carpenter is 5 for 6. 5 for 5.5. Tug says spelling the spud like quail. I see. Emily says, Tug, if it's a movie based on a book, I've probably seen it and read it. Tracy says, I met Billy Barty. That is like so cool. John Doe says, who played the troll in the movie Troll? Good question. Derek Carpenter says, Tracy, how was it? I really loved him. And that's awesome, Tracy. And Indy's Bout says Billy Barty's last film was Burn Hollywood Burn in 1997. Thank you. I will try to remember that. Wow, that was like 12 years later. I don't know why I have it stuck in my head that, well, thank you for correcting me. Grumman is LOL. A lot of people are LOLing at MEE. And Dominic D says, it ain't fair. Everybody sells Billy Barty short, but I'll bump. Oh, and Tracy says he was very showbiz in his attitude. Oh. Gary Cameron says he was on Willow. He was? I'll take your word. Yes, he was. He played the wizard. And that was later too. Okay, so I'm full of crap. But we already knew that, didn't we? And Kevin says, if you're drunk, do you get a mulligan? I'm not, but I'm going to give myself one anyway. And Lisa Field says she loves Billy Barty. And Zublik says Napoleon Complex. That's the shopping mall they built around Napoleon Dynamite. And okay, next part of the trivia questions. Actually, first, Dan, the breaking news man says I got 10 out of 10. Wait, I was late tonight. Well, you can still give yourself 10 out of 10. And WG says Billy Barty played Sigmund and Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. I knew that too. Number 5. This horror film featuring young contemporary vampires gets its name from a J.M. Barrie play. A. Twilight, B. The Lost Boys, C. Near Dark, or D. Hamilton. I shall repeat. This horror film featuring young contemporary vampires gets its name from a J.M. Barrie play. A. Twilight, B. The Lost Boys, C. Near Dark, or D. Hamilton. Give you guys a few more moments. I don't see. Tracy, you want me to repeat the question? Okay, I shall repeat the question because Tracy gave me a question mark, which means she probably has no idea what I'm talking about. Oh, but Indy Spout says, what the heck is a young temporary vampire? Young contemporary. Contemporary, meaning modern day, as in it wasn't set during the 1800s. It was set in present day. It was contemporary, and they're young vampires. All right, if it make you feel better, this horror film featuring contemporary young vampires gets its name from a J.M. Barrie play. Was it A. Twilight, B. Lost Boys, C. Near Dark, or D. Hamilton? Ooh, a lot of people going with A. Danny's saying LOL. Tracy says, okay, I got it. Sarah says, giggle. And he says, is that what contemporary means? Thanks, Bob. I'm just right. That's how when I was a history major, everybody used to say everything in the world is history. That last sentence I gave was history because it's already in the past, even though I just gave it. So my professors separated history into two parts: the stuff that happened way back, or contemporary history, which is stuff that is bordering on current events. And since this movie came out years ago, it's contemporary. And you know what? I'm just going to tell you, it's Lost Boys. The Lost Boys is from the play Peter Pan. Oh my gosh! Keith E is here. Keith E says, everybody seems to know to call me when you come on, just like when they tried to call me when Seinfeld came on. Let me guess. You didn't know that I was on. I'm so sorry, Keith. I'm sorry. You know what? Next time I'll call you myself before I come on. I'm very sorry, Keith. Crapshoot Creations is here. He says, big high five to the live. I made it. I'm so glad you did. Griminion says Near Dark was cool too. Can't go wrong with Lance Hendrickson and music by Tangerine Dream. No, that's a great one. Oh, one more request, Sister Sarah. Please give a link for Crapshoot Creations. I love his stuff. And the little blonde in Near Dark was the groupie in Pink Floyd's The Wall. And Tug says contemporary is one of those words like bi-weekly that gets so confusing. I try not to use it anymore. I don't blame you. I can see why. A lot of people love Near Dark. Me too. I love Near Dark. It's a great movie. And he says Jenny Wright. Yes, very good. Jenny Wright. She was cute. I'm gonna try to be a dirty old man. Jenny Wright's one of those people. Okay, Jenny Wright. When I was a kid, she was a sexy older woman. Now I'm a dirty old man. Life is not fair because I'm still referring to her in the same age bracket. But in any event, number 4. William Golding wrote this novel, later adapted into a film, about schoolboys who devolve into savagery after being stranded on a desert isle. Is it A, Whistle Down the Wind, B, War of the Buttons, C, Lord of the Flies, or D, Les Grès de Tours? And pardon, mes français, is ugh. But I shall repeat. William Golding wrote this novel, later adapted into film, about schoolboys who devolve into savagery after being stranded on a desert isle. Is it A, Whistle Down the Wind, B, War of the Buttons, C, Lord of the Flies, or D, Le Guerre de Tuch? Tuch. Tuch. Fire Tuch. And yes, everyone got that. Oh, and Chromanian says, "Give me a conch shell. I want to say something." I know, right? I know. I was down in the islands, actually, the Bahamas, and I actually found a conch shell, and I was like, "Ew," because it was like something out of Lord of the Flies. And my flex says, among many emojis, hit that thumbs up. Please do what she said. And don't forget to share, comment, please. And thank you. And yes, it was Lord of the Flies. You guys are doing great tonight. Number 3. Oh, and I have a bonus too, which I'll explain later. But number 3. This 1960s cult flick was actually based on Food of the Gods by H.G. Wells. Was it? That's what it was. Village of the Damned. B, Village of the Giants. C, Bless the Beasts and the Children. Or D, The Town That Dreaded Sundown. I shall repeat. This 1960s cult film was actually based on Food of the Gods by H.G. Wells. Was it A, Village of the Damned, B, Village of the Giants, C, Bless the Beasts and the Children, or D, The Town That Dreaded Sundown? Wow, everyone's saying A. We already used A. It's based on the Midwich Cuckoos. I don't know why I did that. I really don't know why I did that. You know what? It's the grounds of total fairness. For those of you who've already you want to change your answer. Hey, there's no wagering, so. Wow, Denny is giving many answers, and they're all the same. And he says, Village of the Giants, I guess, but damn loosely. No, it's incredibly loosely. But the filmmakers actually admitted that they used Food of the Gods as their template. So it's basically, I can't even say it's a name only because the movie wasn't named Foot of the Gods, but it's what the filmmakers were using in here. Oh, and Tony Basil has a small part in there as a young girl who dances. Go fig. But yes, B, Village of the Giants. Also, Ron Howard is in that, a very young Ron Howard. And Tommy Kirk and um Jeff Bridges. Is it Jeff Bridges or one of the Bridges is in it? Burning Bridges. Number 2. This film is not about the antics of a dangerous child. Remember, it's the one that isn't about that premise. Is it A, My Side of the Mountain, B, A Boy and His Dog, C, The Bad Seed, or D, The Other? I shall repeat. This film is not about the Anison. I need an Anison. I'll come in again. This film is not about the antics of a dangerous child. Is it A, My Side of the Mountain, B, A Boy and His Dog, C, The Bad Seed, or D, The Other? A Boy and His Dog? Really? All right, just to make sure, just make this totally clear, I'm referring to the 1975 L.Q. Jones film, A Boy and His Dog, based on the Harlan Ellison acid sci-fi story, A Boy and His Dog. Scott says, actually, I say A. Dan the Breaking News says, Old Yeller, a write-in vote. Can you do a write-in vote? A trivia game. Sean says, "Oh, that's different." Yeah. Well, that's why I picked it because it was a misleading title. I figured any fans of my channel would know which one I was talking about because A Boy and His Dog is definitely about the antics of a naughty, naughty child. Sean says, "The other side of the mountain is about a skier." No. But good guess. It's the agony defeat. Um, long and complicated, but that actually is the right answer. My side of the mountain. It is about a child, but he's not evil. He's more of a Yule Gibbons type. Um, and the number one question, preceding the bonus, is this English post-apocalyptic flick involves a young girl with quasi immunity to a mutant cordyceps fungus. And I know a couple people who are going to get this one easily. But I shall. Oh, it would help if I gave the selections. A, the girl with all the gifts. B, the girl who owned a city. C, the Z is for Zachariah. Or D, The Last of Us. I shall repeat. This English post apocalyptic flick involves a young girl with quasi immunity to a mutant cordyceps fungus. A, the girl with all the gifts. B, the girl who owned a city. C, Z is for Zechariah. Or D, The Last of Us. I'll go with Indy's answers. Good one, Danny. And yes, you got it. Indy and anybody who was on Tug's channel earlier today got this one because I talked about it at some length. But yes, it's A, the girl with all the gifts, which I also just did a retrospect on. So like I say, if you guys watch my content channel, you'll probably get a lot of my trivia questions because I talk about them. And this is a bonus. And the reason it's a bonus is because I went really arcane with this one. In fact, the only way you would know this is if you heard of an anecdote I told ages ago when an old friend of mine was actually here in the comment section. But here's the bonus. This Australian cult entertainment did not feature a group of dangerous children. Was it A, the Road Warrior franchise, B, the Tribe, C, Fortress, or D, Hostage? You see why I threw this one out and made it a bonus? I shall repeat. This Australian cult entertainment did not feature a group of dangerous children. Was it A, the Road Warrior franchise, B, the Tribe, C, Fortress, or D, Hostage? I'm going to give you guys a couple of seconds before I explain it because I feel compelled to explain this one. A lot of people guessing C, some people guessing A, some people guessing D. You guys must have watched The Tribe. Tug says D. That's the only one I'm not familiar with, and I probably there's an explanation to that too. Denny says A. The kids were nice. Oh, but they were dangerous. They were fierce, and there's the feral children in the Road Warrior, and then the lost children in Beyond Thunderdome. Didn't say they were evil, but they were dangerous. Keith E says EC squared, so he's guessing C. A lot of people guessing C, and I'll explain why it isn't C. For those of you who weren't just guessing and actually want to know what Fortress is, Fortress is an Australian film starring Rachel Ward, and it's based on a true story. It's based on this school teacher in the outback who her and her children are kidnapped by a group of ruthless criminals and must form a daring escape. And well, I don't want to give too much of the game away, but the children become very dangerous in their escape attempt. I really should cover this film, but I haven't seen it in years. But the children in that are dangerous. D Hostage, and it's actually I saw it. It's an Australian film. I saw it under its international release title, Savage Attraction, and it's a story about, well, I believe Bruggen is the Australian word for trailer park. It's about this carny girl who ends up getting, she has an affair with this German neo-Nazi kid who blackmails her into marrying him, and hilarity ensues. And it's based on a true story in Australia about this very self-destructive gangster couple with neo-Nazis involved and international intrigue and domestic abuse. And it's a hideous, horrible story. And I saw it because when I had come home for a college break, a buddy of mine and I found it thinking it was this very risque sort of Australian risque movie. I had even heard somewhere that Samantha Fox was in it. I believe there was an Australian character actor whose name was Samantha Fox, but that's another story. Samantha Fox was not in it, and she wasn't risque at all. So we saw this movie thinking it would be like a naughty movie, and it's just this really horrible movie about really sick, um, bad people. But I got through it. It's a terrible, terrible movie. And oh my god, I missed all the scores. So I'm gonna go back. A dingo ate my baby. Keith, good one. Criminals and Fortress was great. It's a great movie. I should review it. I should do a respect on it. Tracy is 4 for 10. Gary was just guessing. Cindy D was 5 for 10. Gary was 7 for 10. Emily says, "Me too, Gary, but I got it right. Yay!" Melissa was 8 for 10. Not bad. Not bad at all. Lisa Fields was 5 for 10. And you got here late too. That's excellent. Harold the Hatter says, "Ooh, Hostage is free on Tubi and Plex. It's terrible. I might watch it though again, just out of nostalgia." Scott is 8 for 9. Emily is 10 for 10. Thanks for the bonus. I'll give it to you. Tug is 10 for 11. Dan says, "Children of the Corn is a rom com." Yeah. Cindy says, "If I built this fortress around your heart." Sting. And my Fox says, "I did play, but I got all right." Well, then give yourself 10 for 10. Teb is 8 for 10. Excellent, Teb. Gary Carpenter says, "Keithy, are you sure about that?" You know what? Dominic D says 7 for 10. Watch Me is 10 for 11. Kevin is 7 for 10. Cindy says, "Yes, Crow Minion from 1985, Sting." Great song. Keithy says, "Gary, I worked my life as an internal auditor, not believing what people tell me, so I don't believe anything." I was thinking that, Keith. We were discussing that the other day when we talked, but I remember over the years I worked in retail and occasionally did have to talk to um, loss prevention personnel, and that's one thing they all had in common. You could tell they never believed a word you said. It was just part of their job was to not believe what you were telling them, even when it was the God's honest truth. Um, must have been a very rewarding but tiring job to never believe people. Commiserations. My flex says, "LOL Pawns 10 for 10." You got it. Andy Spout says, "You need to read or watch A Boy and His Dog again, Bob. He wasn't evil. His actions were pretty restrained and necessary for his survival." I have actually had that debate on several occasions. On several occasions. And you're right, Vic is more survivalistic than evil. Virtually everything he does is solely for the survival of him and his friend, which makes him nihilistic, perhaps amoral, but not necessarily evil, with one exception. One of his central themes, one of the things that most of the story is based on, is, and I'm not going to say it because I know we all know exactly what I'm talking about, but he has a certain drive which one could construe as being not good. But I would actually love to have that discussion with you at some time. But and he's certainly dangerous. And did I say evil or dangerous? It's gone so far back. Give me. Oh, drat. Oh, I believe, yeah, because that was what. Oh, yeah, here it is. I may have said evil, but anyway, it's certainly a worthy of a debate. Grumman says, "Bring me up to 4 with the bonus." Excellent. Dan says, "Clearly the Cave Bear is a good movie." Haven't seen it in years. I think I saw it with a girlfriend, but I haven't seen it in years. I remember the people who made that film was actually sued by the lady who wrote the book. James Remar is in it though. Anything with James Remar can't be that bad. Criminal said that's what I was thinking. Indy. Again, the debate goes on. Again, the debate goes on. Doug says, I'm with you, Indy. I want to call an audible on that question. Um, you know, we should. We should have some. You know what? I'm maybe for next week even. Next week, do you want the theme to be? We'll just use post-apocalyptic film because that's another part of the equation. As Jubal Harshaw would have said, we base our morality on the world that we live in. So a lot of the things that we consider moral are only moral because we were raised that way. If you take our contemporary society out of the equation, what is evil, what is good, and is it simply good because we approve it, or is it good because it is good? So you know what? All right, next week we're going to talk about post-apocalyptic films and the moral conundrum of good versus evil. Do your homework. So yes, and everyone give yourself a half a point if you said a boy and his dog. And if I remember correctly, there were a lot of you. But but my side of the mountain, the kid is definitely not evil. He's a survivalist. He's a survivalist who does his sort of walkabout. Someone here must have read or seen the movie My Side of the Mountain. But anyway, it's this kid who goes into the wilderness to sort of as a catharsis and has some adventures and goes to great lengths to stay alive with him and his buddy the raccoon. So Criminal says that's true. Oh, so is that good, or is that we're going to do the show on next week? And he says, "Run, Thrash! It's a revolt. Save yourself. I run from nothing. My running days are long over." I don't mean that in a good way either. I mean, yeah, I don't have a great flying speed. Teb says, "I'm gonna go now. See you next week." Teb, thank you so much for joining as always. Criminal says, "Good discussion." Tug says, "You're making the case for you being wrong." Citing Hershaw, I win. Ooh, check and mate. Now, I didn't say I was necessarily quoting Hershaw, though. I was using his template. You know, Jubal Harshaw is almost Socratic in his way of viewing things. So again, I'm willing to debate. And he says my homework's already done. Mine too. This could be fun. Oh, Individual Mind is here. Says hello, my flock, what do you mean? And Pondo. Individual Mind, so good to see you. Sadly, we're actually gonna be wrapping up in a few minutes. At 9 o'clock, Cordy's Comedy Channel has his live stream, and I'm using this to gently invite all you people on my behalf to join Corey's Comedy Channel post in a few minutes. But welcome to the chat. Scott says to Tug, Geek the live stream on post-apocalyptic movies from Premiere of Eternity. We did dystopian movies also. Can't wait. Emily says, sounds good to me. Farmers Content is here. Oh my God, Farmers Content. Sadly, we're just about to wrap up and go to Comedy's channel. Corey's Comedy Channel, I should say. But so glad you're here. I remember my side of the mountain, a scholastic mainstay. Yes, that's the one. And he definitely wasn't evil. Tracy says, Niders Tab. Tug says, yeah, let's do it, Thrash. We're just gonna have to be really, really careful about a certain subplot we're not gonna be able to say for the bounds of good taste and the YouTube algorithm. We'll have to come up with a nicer word for it. But yes, and Keithy says Corey's on at 10 p.m. tonight. I thought he is it so it's not 9, it's 10, huh? So it's actually in an hour and 11 minutes. But we're still gonna wrap things up at our normal 9 o'clock. But thanks for letting me know. Yes, for those of you who want to go to Corey's channel, Keith, I'm sorry, are you sure it's 10? I could have sworn it was 9. You might be right, but I could have sworn somebody said 8 Central. But Dan has given us a link. Thank you very much. Sean said just looked it up. Oh, just looked up some real life details of Hostage. The one Mandy died about a year ago in poverty at 64. Jeez. Wow, that's actually very sad, but thank you. Melissa says, have a good time tonight. Good night, Thrash Pondo, and all take care. Yes, you as well, Melissa. So glad you could make it. Gary says, good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are. Oh, and everyone's giving links to Corey's comedy channel. Thank you so much. Christopher says, good night. Corey said, Crow Minion says we need a euphemism. Yes, Crow, we definitely need a euphemism. I'll try to think of one that isn't too schoolboy locker room. A lot of people say goodnight to one another. Texas, I haven't seen it, but I have seen Hodorowski's Holy Mountain. That movie's just weird. Cindy says good night, all. Jenny says Corey is 10 p.m. Eastern. I will long be asleep at 10 p.m. So, guys, please, for all of you who go to Corey's Comedy Channel tonight, and I hope it's all of you, for all of you who go to Corey's Comedy Channel tonight at 10, please say, hey, from me. Tell him I'll watch and replay tomorrow when I'm having my coffee. And then I hope you guys all have an amazing time on his show tonight. And Cindy says, good night, Thrash. I will get you soon by email. Looking forward to it. Scott says, time for dinner with the fam. Then I'll jump over to see comedy show. Crow says, thanks, Thrash. Good night to you all. Again, and the chatters. A lot of people saying good night to one another. And again, good night for me. And he says, how about his girlfriend is boiling hot? We're on the right track, but I'll think of something. Now, as I'm sure you all know, this is the part where I usually start gushing about how much I appreciate all of you guys coming in. And we had a lot of people tonight. I glanced over. I think we had like 30 people at one point. We had a lot of people tonight. You guys are all very reactive. I love the interaction. I just you guys just really you make my night. I really when I say that I look forward to these all week, I certainly do. And I wish I had time to do them longer and more often. And who maybe sometime down the road I will. Summer's coming up. I'm usually more busy instead of less during the summer, but you never do know. You never do know. But I do. I will continue these Sunday night chats so long as I have strength in my body. Oh, individual mine says so. If anybody listens to Stained, I don't know if it's true, but something happened. Thrasher, do you know anything? I am not familiar. I don't know. I know a couple people who are really into the music scene. I'll see what I can find out, but I don't know. But again, I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. And I do have more content coming out on a few of my famous shoutouts. Haven't decided what I'm doing this week in the way of content. I still have a backlog. I still got John Doe's you vintage cartoon show I've been working on. But anyway, until next Sunday, everybody, be good, be safe, be careful, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.